We knew defensively it was going to be tough on them, and then offensively we put together the best week of practice we have all year. I think things have been really trending in the right direction. We played pretty well last week at the semi-state. And then special teams. I mean, we won all 3 facets of the game. We've been talking about it for 16 weeks. We need to put the whole package together. We put it was either defense and a little bit of offense, defense and special teams. Even last week, it was arguably our best game to that point. We were still special teams. We had a couple special teams blunders. So to put it all together, which is always the goal, obviously, at this stage, is an awesome feeling. I just feel proud of the kids, happy for the kids.
You use the word physicality, whether it's number 1 on offense or number 5 on defense. I mean, you got guys all over the field. How tough is it for other teams to deal with just that intimidation factor?
It's tough, especially when you got so many kids playing both sides of the ball. Chasing around our speed on the defensive side of the ball is tough. Seeing our speed with our defense when the opponent's on the offensive side of the ball is tough. But then, we've got physical kids in this program up front on the defense and offensive lines. When your running backs can lower the boom. They're on the flip end, they're playing linebacker, running around with that same physicality. When your receivers, Isaac Zay and Jalen White out wide on the perimeter, they've been physical blockers all year. It just takes a toll on your body. And from the mental, the emotional standpoint of a teenager, that's tough trudging. We had a little depth advantage, and kids came out. They played their best 48 minutes of the season.
I know in a few of the other interviews, a lot of the kids specifically were talking about how much it meant to win this for you. To hear them say that and to know that was a motivating factor, how special is that?
It's cool. I've had several classes tell me that. I love doing what I do. I love working with kids. I love this group of kids. For them to want something for somebody else, that's what Luers is about. That's what being a human being should be about, giving yourself for others. For them to want me to have that experience as a head coach, that's awesome. But I told them, Damien was the first one last week who came up to me immediately after a handshake line against LCC. Said, Coach, we're going to get you one. Say, hey, I'm doing this for you guys. I want you guys to have that experience I did. I'm doing it for you. So it's a cool feeling, definitely.
It was not a pretty start for you guys to the start of the season, 0-2, but you guys get better week after week. And just what does that say about these guys for them to constantly get better, and when it matters most, they execute at this stage?
It speaks a lot to the character of this team, of the senior class, the leadership. That was a big question mark, in all honesty, heading into the season. Was it was our small senior class who haven't really had the burden of having to carry a team on their shoulders. Would they be able to handle the emotional swings of a football game, let alone a football season? For them to be able to just continuously put it together on the practice field, in the weight room, in the film room, week in and week out, always trying to improve themselves, speaks once again to the type of kids that they are and the future that they're going to hold. Those are some special young men.
Coach, you seem like 2 bulldogs in the backfield, Gio and Mickey. How big were they for you guys this season?
Oh yeah, it's fun to see those guys reap the benefits of patience, perseverance. We had a lot of experience heading into the year behind with our offensive line in particular. Mickey with his style of just being a bruiser. Gio being shifty is his nickname. He's got an extra gear that a lot of these 2A opponents haven't seen. And then he finishes downhill as well. And Mickey's got a gear too. I mean, Mickey, he doesn't run hard, man. He's a gifted running back, let alone just an overall complete football player. It was tough to run the ball for most of the regular season, and they never ever gave up on their offensive line. They were always, they were captains. They were true captains of this team. Just always encouraging the inexperienced kids, some of their senior classmates as well. They knew better days were ahead, and for them to put it together here the last month has been special.
Last week we talked about getting the opportunity to add to this winning legacy. You guys capitalized on it. What does that mean for you guys?
It means everything. This is why I do what I do. I wanted to, when I was in college and wanted to decide on what I wanted to do with my career, I knew I could coach. I knew I had a passion for the game, a passion with working with kids. I didn't quite envision this happening, or I didn't know what I wanted to do beyond that. I got in the classroom, I loved it, but this is a special profession. Just working with educators in general, it's an awesome feeling to see these kids have that experience. Lifelong memories that they've created for each other. It's special.
You talked a little bit about how this team has improved week in and week out, but have you ever had a group of kids who have grown so much in a pretty short period of time? I know there are some teams that you've had that have done similar things, but
from week one, not just losing to where we're at right now, it's hard to say. Probably not. Probably haven't had a group that really had to overcome some of their own deficiencies, the inexperience. This is the class that was really asking for leaders, begging for leaders to emerge, and one by one they stepped up. I think even the lowest man on our depth chart in the senior class, he led by example, and that works itself up to the top of the leadership. These coaching staff did a heck of a job. They had a lot of patience with this group of kids. But I don't think I've seen a team come along from the emotional standpoint as far as I've seen this, and that makes me just as proud as anything.
All right, and you talked a little bit about all three facets of the game coming together today, but it was kind of like a textbook situation. Defense blocks a punt, I think it was 27, puts you on the 27, and then punt return, an interception. I mean, what can you say about the way that everybody worked together to put the offense in a great position?
We talked about getting off to a fast start. The defense was excited to get on the field first. I believe they scored out a couple, 2 or 3 first downs, but our defense does what it does. They don't get down on themselves about giving up first downs or big plays for that matter. Their goal is to keep people out of the end zone, and they did that tonight. But we talked about getting off to a fast start and what that could do for our confidence, but also what could that do for their confidence. So that was huge for the defense to block that punt. And then our first play, we went over the top. Cohen threw a beautiful ball to West, and I believe 2 plays later, Mickey punched it in a physical fashion. That kind of set the tone for how the night was going to go.
All right, and final thing, you're probably not thinking about it right now, but I guess the SAC non-conference schedule really worked out for a couple teams this year.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, it's been interesting. We didn't play Snyder or Carroll, and I know there's a lot of talk about how deserving we were to be conference champions. Ourselves, our kids, we didn't care. Nobody's going to take that away from us, and we played 2 really good programs in East Noble and New Haven that took it to us physically. They challenged us mentally and emotionally. We didn't answer the bell in week 1. Week 2, we got a little bit better. The scoreboard didn't show it, but we played some physical football against New Haven. But from there, I think this team kind of found itself, what it needed to do to not just compete but win games. Winning a lot of close games in the regular season definitely helped us overcome a lot of the adversity this postseason.